Hi there, and welcome to another installment of Behind the Line, where I talk a little bit about the writing process behind some of the lyrics for my songs. We will be doing these videos for all the songs on my album In Circles Now, which comes out October 28th. But today I will be talking a little bit about a song called Highway Island, which was just released. It's the second and last single off of the EP. And so here we go. I wrote Highway Island back in January, and for a long time I just had a chord progression and I put it behind a beat and just kind of let that loop in my head for a while, not really knowing what I was going to do with it. Eventually the loop itself kind of inspired the lyrics for this song, in that it reminded me of the way I process difficult emotions, which is all internally. I have a pile of lyrics here requested by you, and I think that the whole song was pretty much requested, so buckle in. If the night could speak, it'd tell you to ache endlessly, and if I'm like you, I'd let it. I think that when we are faced with a lot of tricky emotions, it can feel like an easier route almost to feed some of those feelings and to just let it grow inside you. And I think that these first couple of lines are kind of recognizing the humanness in doing that. Freedom lives in that space between the pavement and a driver's seat. For me, when I wrote this line, I wrote it in sort of a literal sense. My dad really enjoys driving. He has a convertible and he would take it out more or less every day. And I think growing up, I really associated, being an adult with this sense of freedom that you would get from driving. And I think I carried that subconsciously around, I'm an adult when I learn how to drive. I've only recently become a car owner and drive often now, but there is something I think about driving in the nighttime and just feeling like you can go wherever you want, as far as you want from all of your troubles, that kind of gives that sense of freedom. Of Highway Island, of the round and round, it's safe in hiding, but we're in circles now. I was thinking a lot about how I could express this idea of I am just going round and round with my own thoughts and emotions, and I don't know how to get out of this place. And it's even though I am in so much pain, it's safer in here. It feels easier trapped inside of my own self than it does to come out and share whatever it is that I'm feeling. If I followed you everywhere, I'd not know when to stop till we reach the same end. I have said this, I think, a lot on stage, but I am an internal processor, so I tend to do everything that the song is saying. But my partner Jeff is definitely not. He's the total opposite. So I think we complement each other well in that way, because we're kind of able to find a balance between communicating to each other and giving each other space to work things out. But I think that in certain relationships where both of you tend to go to Highway Island or this place of isolation, it can be difficult to figure out how to work together and how to come out of whatever place that we're in with a greater understanding of each other, because often it is just full of silences. In writing these two lines, I was thinking about those types of relationships, and if we kind of keep feeding into that silence and into this place of isolation, we'd never resolve anything. If thoughts could cruise from 20 to 92, the miles would stretch as long as you'd let it. I've struggled with anxiety for many, many years, and it can feel very often like your thoughts are going a million miles an hour, and and it's just never ending. So this line kind of speaks to some of those feelings. Let feelings sit till they're overdue. This line is definitely a jab at myself. I am definitely the type of person who just lets uncomfortable emotions sit inside of me until I burst, which isn't I think the most productive way to communicate sometimes. But I also think that realizing this about myself has made me kinder to myself in a lot of ways, in that I'm fully accepting that it takes me a little bit longer to share what I feel, and that's okay. All right, and the last line in the bridge is, can't want to leave unless it's on your own, but we're waiting for you to get home. I think for me, and this might be a mix of the way I grew up and my own personality, or just my observations on the way people deal with conflict in my life. I think that sometimes I'm saying we, but I really mean me, tend to have just sort of be on edge in anticipation of people's reactions and people's feelings and what they need in that moment. And I think that in a lot of my relationships, it's sort of been really challenging for me to separate myself from other people's strifes and difficulties. Thank you so much for tuning in again and sending in your requests. I really like doing these. I feel like they help me understand my own songs better in a way. So thank you. In Circles Now is coming out on October 28th, and I can't wait to do the next one. See ya. Safe and hiding, we're in